Hello students, welcome to our mathematics class. So for today's lesson, we will discuss about laws of exponents. Okay, but before that, make sure that you remember that in an exponent, example 2 squared, we call the bigger number as base and the smaller number in the upper right of the bigger number is our exponent or power. So always remember that, students. So it means that an exponent will be our basis in the number of how we repeatedly multiply the base. For example, in 3 squared, it means that we need to multiply 3 2 times. So that is 3 times 3. Answer is 9. So always remember that, students, base and the power or exponent. Now, let's go back to the laws of exponent. Number 1. Product of powers. Okay, let's say we multiply m raised to or a raised to m to a raised to n. So that is a raised to m times a raised to n. That is equal to a raised to m plus n. Okay. What can you notice, students? Okay, still not visible to you. Let's have another example. M raised to 4 times m raised to 6. We have now m raised to 4 plus 6. Final answer, m raised to 10. Okay, what can you notice now, students? Very good. If we have the same bases, we will just copy the base and add the exponents. For example, we have here m raised to 4 times m raised to 6 is equal to, copy the base and add the exponent. So we have our final answer, m raised to 10. Now, what if we have numbers or constant as our bases? For example, 2 cubed times 2 squared. Okay, very good. So that is 2 raised to 3 plus 2. So our final answer or our answer is 2 raised to 5. Now, you should express 2 raised to 5 into a final answer. What is the answer? What do you think is the answer, students? Very good. So 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Because we will multiply 2 5 times repeatedly to itself. Okay, is that clear, students? Very good. Next, may we have number 2? Power of a product. Okay, observe carefully, students. The quantity A times B raised to any power or an exponent is equal to A raised to M, B raised to M. Okay, what can you notice? It's hard. Okay, let's have another example. Let's say we have 3x, open and close parenthesis, squared. So we have now 3 squared x squared. But remember, we can still express 3 squared into another final answer. So 3 squared is 9, and when it is variable, just stay or copy like that. So we have now 9x squared. Okay, students, can you see the pattern in the power of a product? Very good. We will just distribute the exponents or exponent. Okay, may we have final example? 2x y squared z raised to 3. Okay, so that will be 2 cubed, that will be x cubed, and that will be, in that case, you will multiply the exponents. We will discuss that furthermore in our third law of exponent. So that is y raised to 6 and z cubed. For the final answer, we have 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And then now copy the rest of the answer. So we have now our final answer, 8x cubed or x raised to 3, y raised to 6, z raised to 3. Is that clear, students? Okay, very good. Next, let's go to the third law. Power of a power. So, based from the terms alone, we will be dealing with exponents. Okay? Now, observe. If we have a raised to m raised to n, what is the answer? We have equals a m times n odd, or that will be a m or a raised to m n. Okay, can you notice the pattern or the pattern? Still no? Okay, may we have another example. B raised to 4 cube. Okay? B raised to 4 times 3. Final answer, we have B raised to 12. Can you now see the pattern? Okay, very good. When we see power of a power, we will just copy the base and multiply the exponents. Is that clear, students? Okay, very good. Next, number 4. Quotient of powers. Okay. What if we are dealing with division of terms with exponents? Let's say we have a raised to m divided by a raised to n. That is a raised to m minus n, wherein a raised to n should not equal to 0. Okay, we could have any difference of m minus n as long as the final answer would not be equal to 0. I believe you can now see the pattern. But let's have an example. K raised to 6 divided by k raised to 2, or k squared. We have now copy the base and then subtract the exponents. Okay, so our final answer is k raised to 4. Is that clear, students? Okay, very good. Now, let's go to the fifth power or fifth law of exponent. Power of a quotient. Okay, again, we will be dealing with division. Okay, but in this case, notice that a divided by b, open and close parenthesis, raised to m, is equal to a raised to m, b raised to m, provided that b is not equal to 0. Okay? Still, you can't notice the pattern. Now, let's try an example. 2 divided by y, open and close parenthesis, cube, or raised to 3. We have now 2 cube divided by y cube, or over y cube. Our final answer is 2 times 2 times 2. We have 8 over y cube. Can you notice now the pattern, students? Okay, very good. We will distribute the exponent to the numerator and to the denominator. Okay, because this is like a fraction form. Yes? Okay, very good. Next, number 6. Law of exponent is 0 exponent rule. Okay, 0 exponent rule is easy to remember. Okay, because any number or any letter raised to 0 is equal to 1, provided that our base is not 0. Okay, let's say we have 2 raised to 0 is still 1. 0 is our power or exponent, and 1 million, or no matter what number is that, let's say 2x squared y cube, open and close parenthesis, raised to 0, that is still equal to 1. Is that clear, students? Okay, very good. Next, number 7. Negative exponent. In negative exponent, This is all about putting the whole term either in the denominator or numerator. How? Let's say we have a raised to negative m. That will be 1 over a raised to m, provided that a raised to m is not equal to 0. So what I'm trying to say here is, if the exponent or power is negative, you should get the reciprocal. For example, n raised to negative 2, the reciprocal is 1 over n squared. Okay? Is that clear, students? Yes, very good. Next, number 8. Power of 1. Okay, this is very easy. Any number, any letter raised to 1 is itself. 2 raised to 1 is 2. Whatever the base, raised to 1, the whole of it raised to 1 will be the base. Okay. Now, we are done with 8 laws of exponent. Let's have a recap. Number 1, product of powers, wherein if you multiply terms with the same bases, just copy the base and add the exponents. Number 2, power of a product, wherein if we have a times b raised to a power or exponent, we have a raised to m, b raised to m. Just distribute. Number 3, power of a power, wherein if we have a raised to m raised to n, what will happen? We will just multiply the exponents. So m times n. Number 4 is quotient. Quotient of powers. Okay? We are dealing with a raised to m, a raised to n. So we will just copy the base and subtract the exponents, provided that a should not equal to 0, or a raised to n should not equal to 0. Okay, they have the same bases. Okay, number 5, power of a quotient. In power of a quotient, let's say we have a over b raised to m. Just distribute the exponent. So a raised to m over b raised to m, provided that b is not equal to 0. Number 6 is 0 exponent rule. Any number, any letter raised to 0 is equal to 1, provided that a is not equal to 0, because 0 raised to 0 is 0. Okay? Next, number 7, negative exponent. So, if our power exponent is negative, just get the reciprocal. Provided that a raised to m is not 0, or our reciprocal do not have a denominator of 0. And number 8, power of 1. Any number, any letter raised to 1 is itself, or the base itself is 2. Okay? Any question? If you have any question, you can approach me or comment below. Next, what if we combine all those laws from 1 to 8? Let's say combination of any laws or any law of exponents, 2 or 3 laws of exponents. Let's say we have number 1, 2x y squared z times 3x cubed y squared z. So that is now 2 times 3 times x cubed times y squared times y squared times z. Okay, so if you can notice, we will multiply same terms. Okay, y squared to y squared, and then z to z. Is that clear? Okay, very good. Now let's go back to black. So that is 2 times 3 is 6. Oh, what about that? Same base or bases, copy the base, add the exponent. Remember that this is 1, x raised to 1. So we have now x raised to 4. Then same base again, y, add the exponents. 2 plus 2 rather is 4. Then this is raised to 1, that is also raised to 1. We have now z squared. That is our final answer. Okay, may we have another example here. Number 2. Example. Let's say we have 2b squared x, the quantity raised to 3. Okay, distribute the exponent. So we have now 2 cubed b squared cube x cube. Okay, so like that. What is 2 times 2? 4 times 2? We have now 8. And power of a power, we have now b raised to 6. So 4x, just write it the way it is. Okay, so we have now 8 b raised to 6 x cubed. How about number 3? May we have 5a raised to 8 over 5a raised to 2. Okay, what is 5 divided by 5? 1. So, let's proceed to A. Since A raised to 8 and A divided by A squared, they have the same bases. So, just copy A and then subtract the exponents. So, final answer is A raised to 6. Okay, if you can notice, I didn't write the answer of this because if we put here 1 times A is or 1 times A raised to 8 minus 2 is equal to 1 times A raised to 6 is still A raised to 6. Okay? Next. What if we have what number? Number 4. Let's say we have 6 cubed times 6 squared. Okay, same basis or bases rather. So we have now 6, 3 raised to 3 plus 2. We have now 6 raised to 5. And express it in a final answer. We have now 7,776. Okay, number 5. What if we have 4a squared b times the quantity 2ab cubed? Okay. So, first multiply 4 times 2. So, we have now 8. Next, we have a squared times a. So, we have now a raised to 3. Remember, that is a raised to 1. Okay, very good. Next, b times b cubed. We have now b raised to 4. That is our final answer. Number 6. Let's say we have negative 2. A raised to 7 times negative 3 a squared is equal to, okay, very good. So we have now negative 2 times negative 3. We have positive 6. A raised to 7 times a squared, we have a raised to 9. That is our final answer. Next, number 7. What if we have negative 5 a raised to 4 b squared c, open and close parentheses, raised to 3. So we have now negative 5 cube a raised to 4 cube b raised to 2 cube and c cube. Now if we get the answer of that, we have negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Positive 25 times negative 5 is negative 125. Okay, power of power again. Power of power. So we have now a raised to 12. Power of power again. So we have now b raised to 6. And then power of power, we have now c raised to 3. Since that is c raised to 1. Oh, remember that. Okay? Now, that is our final answer. Number 8. Let's say we have negative 3 a cubed y divided by 4 a raised to 5 y squared. That will be negative 3 squared a cube squared y squared. Okay? Over 4 squared a raised to 5 squared y squared. Okay, what do you think is the final answer? Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. And then 4 times 4 or 4 squared is 16. Okay, now power, we have a, this 9. Okay, that is 9. A raised to 6. Again, power of power, that is a raised to 10. And then now we have y squared, y squared. Oh, let's make it the same. Y squared and y squared. Can we divide 9 divided by 16? No. So, just let it be. Okay? So, 9 over 16. How about a raised to 10, a raised to 6 divided by a raised to 6 divided by a raised to 10. So, copy the base and subtract the exponent. Let's get this. A raised to 6 divided by a raised to 10. That is a 6 minus 10. Wherein a raised to 6 minus 10 is a raised to negative 4. So, remember, we will get the reciprocal if the exponent is negative. So, that is 1 over a raised to 4. Okay? So, that will be our answer here. A raised to 4. Okay, I will no longer write 1 there. Okay, because 1 times 9 is still 9. Okay. Now, another. What is y squared divided by y squared? Okay, very good. That will be, let's have another color for that. This one. Okay. If that is y squared divided by y squared, we have now y 2 minus 2. That is y raised to 0. Any number, any letter raised to 0 is 1. Okay, should I still put 1? It can be, but still 9 over 16 times a, or 9 over 16 a raised to 4 is still, times 1 is still 9 over 16 a raised to 4. Okay, so our final answer is 9 over 16 a raised to 4. Okay, any question on that? So far, so good. I hope none. Okay, what if we have, what number are we now? Number 9. So, let's say we have number 9. Bracket, that is bracket. Open and close parenthesis, AB cube. Open and close parenthesis, negative 4AB. Bracket 0. So it means that the whole of this is raised to 0. Now, what do you think is the answer? Okay, very good. Remember that any number, any letter raised to 0 is 1. Very good. Now for our final example, where we have 7 a cube b squared, open and close parenthesis, squared. We have 7 squared a cube squared b squared squared. So we have now 49 a raised to 6 b raised to 4. Final answer. Okay? If you want more examples, just tell me, comment here below, and I will give you another video for more examples on laws of exponents. So that would be all, students. So always remember our laws of exponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be all. Thank you very much.